Good morning and welcome to Start the Day on this very autumnal first Friday in October. And we're not in Southall this morning. We're staying with some friends in the Lake District for a few days.
And it's so wet and windy out here, I might literally take off at some point with holding on to this umbrella. So we'll do our best to make ourselves heard above the wind. And simply to say, first of all, it was wonderful to be with some of you at the beginning of the week on the Diocesan Conference. Wonderful time to be away together and be encouraged and inspired in all that we're doing. And as we live through challenging times, the last months has just been extraordinary and momentous in many ways, especially with the death of Her late Majesty the Queen and the accession of King Charles, but also as well with some of the other challenges we're facing in our world at the moment, and particularly with the economic crisis. So we've got a good psalm actually for today.
We are reading Psalm 77 this morning, which we thought is very helpful to reflect on in light of all those challenges we're living with at the moment, which will be for some, many, a very personal one too. So we're reading selective verses from Psalm 77, starting with verses 1 to 3. I cry out to God for help. I cry out to God to hear me. When I was in distress, I sought the Lord. At night I stretched out untiring hands, and I would not be comforted. I remembered you, God, and I groaned. I meditated, and my spirit grew faint.
And then from verse 10, then I thought, I will remember the deeds of the Lord. Yes, I will remember your miracles of long ago. I will consider all your works and meditate on all your mighty deeds. Your ways, God, are holy. What God is as great as our God? You are the God who performs miracles. You display your power among the peoples. With your mighty arm you redeemed your people, the descendants of Jacob and Joseph. And then to verse 19. Your path led through the sea, your way through the mighty waters. Though your footprints were not seen, you led your people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron.
And the psalmist starts out with a loud cry to God for help, which is always a good place to begin when you're in difficulty and things are really difficult. But the psalmist then remembers all that God has done in his life and the story of the people of God in times gone by. And at first it intensifies the psalmist's despair, and then it goes on to raise his faith in God.
And there's a wonderful faith-raising moment, I think, that comes when we were reading this last night in verse 19. Just one line that just caught our attention, where the psalmist is remembering right back in the story of the people of God to the time they crossed the Red Sea, and says, your path led through the sea. God's path led through the sea, your way through the mighty waters. And then this line, though your footprints were not seen. And it's almost as though he recognizes in his current troubles that, looking back and reflecting on the past, that when they were going through difficult times in the past, the people of God, there were many occasions where they thought, where is God? And yet God was leading them. And God was not leading them necessarily by removing the trouble, but leading them through the challenge or the trouble. And the psalmist is saying, we didn't see your footprints, but you were there. And maybe that was a turning point, and can be for us, recognizing that even when we can't make sense of the things that are happening or the challenges we're facing, we may not see, as it were, God's footprints right now, but he's there. And they're hidden. They were not seen, but his footprints were certainly there. And we recognize his presence and his leading for us, for our nation, for our world, and can put our hope again in God in the midst of difficult times.
So we're going to pray now. Dear Lord, help us to remember all that you have done in our lives, and especially your saving love through the cross. Help us to trust that you are always at work in our lives and our world, and that you will bring comfort, encouragement and hope in all the difficult times we may face. now and in the days to come. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Well,
I think we'll remember this psalm, and I thought the word that also struck me was mighty waters in that last verse.
Yeah.
And I will remember Psalm 77 because my pages of my Bible are very
well,
wet.
very wet. Thank you for joining us this morning for this Start the Day. And for those who are part of the Diocese family, or even if you're not, you're welcome to join us. We've got a special first prayer of the day for the month, the Diocesan Day of Prayer, next Thursday. We're going to be doing that on the second Thursday of the month, praying for churches across the diocese, waiting and watching, looking to the Lord to lead us and guide us, and particularly through these challenging times. And you're welcome to join us. There are various opportunities for prayer during the day. But in the evening, there's going to be evensong in the Minster at 5:30. And then there's going to be a time of more contemporary worship and prayer that Neil Wilson and some others are going to lead us in at 7:45 in the State Chamber. And in between the 5:30 and the 7:45, we're going to be hosting supper at Bishop's Manor. And we'd love you to join us if you'd like to at that point, either following evensong or before the 7:45 worship. You'd be welcome to come and join us at 6:30 till about 7:45. If you can let us know, that would help too. And you can go onto the Diocesan website. You can click through the Diocesan Day of Prayer, and there's a way in which you can let us know that you'd like to join us for a simple supper as well. And we will have dried off by then, and hopefully we can look forward to welcoming some of you on that occasion too. But whatever you're doing this weekend, I hope it won't be as blustery as it is right now here, but we look forward to seeing you soon. But for now, God's blessing to you all.